Hey, Gator Nation, welcome back to Respect Our Decision, Pod of the People. As always, I'm your host, Hirsch, and with me is the hype man, Wes.
Good, Gator Nation.
And CJ, the man, McCann.
What's going on, guys?
As you know, guys, Pod of the People is a YouTube exclusive show where we take the questions you guys have sent us and we try to give them some answers, maybe a little feedback, whatever we might know, or at least what we think we know, and see if we can give y'all some answers to those questions. So without any further ado, guys, we're going to jump right into the questions sent to the Facebook group. Wes, what we got?
All right. First off, appreciate you guys for sending questions in. This first one is going to go to you, CJ. This is from Charlie Sapp. He says, I'm still concerned on the O-line. The tackle that was going to visit us this weekend from Cali has committed to Ohio State. Will Napier put the hammer down?
I hope so. I mean, I feel like these meetings are happening. I don't feel like he's just kind of like, oh well, you miss here there. I don't think he's complacent like that. I think that you're either going to have to see improvement, or you're going to see some guys lose their job. You've got to fix this. I don't know where the mistake was made. I don't know if what Ohio State gave him was better than what he could get here. I don't know any of that. But I do know that there were mistakes made. I think Billy referenced some of that. So you've got to clean those up. And I know people get sick and tired of hearing, oh, okay, well, they're just going to fix what they messed up. But I feel like that's just mostly where we're at. And especially with our program right now is there's so much new going on, and you're trying to get kids out of the portal, and everybody's got a different strategy, and everybody wants to do things differently. And when you see stuff like this blow up in your face, you really gotta react to it. You've got to make some changes. And it might be a situation now where it's too late for this cycle. I mean, it just is what it is. There's not a lot of guys in the portal this time around. You're in a bind because the spring portal is going to be kind of underwhelming because we can't take kids from SEC schools. That has a lot to do with it. So I think that's just a lot of stuff that isn't great at one time coming out, but I don't know. And then this is like the ridiculous stuff about the film, being a reason that this kid didn't come because we wanted him to sit practice film. That's a load of bull. That's not it. We got 10 guys in the portal in the fall going about it that way. We've gone about business as usual doing that since Billy got here. So, and if he doesn't want to do that and he's not committed enough to send in some tape, then I really don't want him on my football team anyway.
All right. Good feedback there, Hirsch. This second question is from Gary Taft Hirsch. He says, has Billy Napier done great in the portal so far, and has he recruited better than the last couple of staff? So trust the process and let him work. This program was in really bad shape before he got there. Go Gators, chomp chomp. He really didn't ask a question. He was just kind of saying what I was thinking when CJ was talking as far as adapting and the ability to. This is new. So how do you feel about him and Billy being able to adapt and in this situation where things are still new as far as the portal and his ability to learn? Are you tired of what CJ was just saying? I kind of turned what Gary was saying into a question for yours. Are you tired of hearing Billy's going to adapt, he's going to make the changes, or are you still being in the patience? Okay, I've seen changes, and that's okay because I've seen the changes that he's done with certain things, and I'm okay, and I'm going to give him the opportunity to fix this, especially seeing what CJ just alluded to as well, that we got a bunch of transfers in the first quarter.
I am getting a little frustrated with the adapting. At some point, we just got to get it right. Now, it looked like the last portal cycle, like CJ was saying, we got a bunch of kids. It looked like we kind of were on a good roll there. And then you roll into this cycle, you have 4 to 5 scholarships open. You have a specific set of needs. You needed offensive lineman. You needed a safety. You wanted an edge rusher. And I go back probably 2 offensive linemen because of injuries and concerns of that nature. And here you are, as of tonight, you have a safety in hand. That's great. You identified, you got. but you drug your feet on some other areas just because you kind of felt like you had it in the bag, and and you lost out. So at some point, elite coaching staffs don't continue to have to adapt. They set the precedent. They set the bar. They do it right. I'm not going to say they never screwed up. I'm sure Nick Saban, Kirby Smart would both look at you in the face and say, I had my early share of mistakes in recruiting. But at some point, and they didn't have to deal with a portal like this either. Let's be honest.
True.
So it's a challenge, but at some point, man, you've got to get your plan. You don't have forever and a day to get your plan established. Like, we'll get them next time. No, you got to start getting them.
I agree. CJ, this one should be fun for you. This is from Tim Fonville. I apologize if I pronounced your last name wrong. He says, do you all have an idea of who the quarterback transfer might be?
I got some bad news and I got some worse news. The bad news is there ain't a quarterback in the portal you won't. And the worst news is we ain't going to get no transfer quarterback. So you go ahead and let that one go, brother. I see we are so down bad for a transfer. Y'all out here asking for some dude from Nebraska, a dude from Michigan State, TJ Finley out of Auburn, which can't happen anyway because he'd have to sit out. Or I think he's a grad chancellor, so maybe that wouldn't matter. But even still, I don't want TJ Finley. Like, come on, guys. We don't just want to take anybody.
And that's our problem.
In the position, it was like, yeah, like you don't just want to take anybody. Mm-hmm. Then you just end up with a guy who's just as good or maybe worse than what we have now. Just to say, well, we got another quarterback in the room, just another body to hang around. Like, I don't know. I don't think there's going to be one. And I understand that Austin Simmons has his thing, and he announced that he's playing spring football at Moorhaven. I mean, specifically said spring football, so you make that what you will, But like I said, we ain't getting no transfer quarterback. There ain't one in there you won't.
We're real quick to call Auburn's quarterback room mid and everything else, but then we want their quarterback when he enters the portal. Make it make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
I heard this is from my boy Bulldogs. He said, is it just me or did every talking head on the draft show have something derogatory to say about a Florida player getting drafted?
I wouldn't say that. I heard him say a lot of good things. I heard him say some really good stuff on ESPN when Ventrell Miller was drafted. Like they pointed out his flaws, of which he has. I mean, we know, but they were like, hey man, if this is a guy, like if you're going out somewhere and you need a bodyguard or somebody, this is the guy you want because he's going to lay the wood down on,
I think it was Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. They were, and I was like, wow, I was actually surprised at how complimentary they were of Ventrell because I thought Ventrell was picked a little higher than he was going to go.
Me too.
So I was like, wow, that was really cool. I mean, AR has flaws. We knew AR was going to get picked about his flaws wherever he got picked. Because that's what you do. You have to say, well, there's the low side with this guy. He's not a can't miss once in a lifetime prospect as a quarterback, even though some people will say he has those gifts, and he does. I didn't really, Osiris slid. Obviously, we weren't expecting that. Gervon got picked higher than, right about where I said second round, and some people said third. I didn't hear him say a whole lot of negative about either one of those guys.
Even Bernie and Schroeder too. I didn't hear a lot of bad stuff.
I wasn't as dialed in when they got picked. Like I kind of got it more on my phone probably than I did watching it. But I don't think they were terrible. Maybe NFL Network was worse.
It depends on who you listen to. I didn't listen. I was on ESPN. I didn't listen to NFL Network. So maybe it depends
I don't really
on
know.
who you listen.
Yeah, they were nice, just shorter. So
CJ, this is from Justin Wood. Our last three questions are from Justin. I'm going to go first, CJ, then you, Hirsch, and then I'm going to go back to CJ for the baseball question. First question, CJ, from Justin. He says, what are you guys' thoughts on R.J. Moulton? Do we think he has a good shot? Do we think we have a good shot of landing the transfer from Billy's old school? So he has a two-part question at first.
Okay, I'll address RJ Moten. I like RJ Moten. He's got solid stats. There's a couple issues. I think the tackling might be a little bit of an issue that people are kind of worried about, but the guy has great stats. I think he's going to be plugged in immediately. He's an experienced starter at Michigan. Michigan has a really good defense. So I don't have a problem with him. I think he's going to come through and really be a key piece to the defense now. He's a legacy. His dad played here. So I'm really excited about him. And then the defensive back from Louisiana Lafayette has a lot of offers, like a lot of offers. I don't know how strong his ties are with Billy. Billy coached him in, I think, 2020. Maybe that plays a factor, but
And he has none to Raymond.
Yeah, he's none to Raymond. Patrick Toney isn't here anymore. Maybe that's the way it is. I know we've offered him, but like I said, there's so many people that have offered. I think he's got 15 offers.
And Auburn and
schools.
Alabama and LSU are two of them.
Yeah, you've got a lot of guys in that Penn State.
If he was a safety, I would really, really, really want him. But being DB, I feel like we were solid with the veteran young guy thing there. So
I don't think it's a need as big. He looks like, from the pictures I saw, like he's pure corner.
Yeah,
like he's not thick. He's not a
big. He's a slender guy. He's got a pretty slim build. I like him a lot. I'd love to have him, but I don't really know. I haven't heard anything one way or the other. As far as like how we feel about it, other than, hey, Billy coached this guy. And that means a lot to some kids, and that don't mean jack squat to others. I mean, he's a Louisiana kid. Most of the time, Louisiana kids want to play for LSU. They grew up wanting to play for LSU. That's why it's so hard to get those kids out of Louisiana.
I think I read Jaluk is the one that went and called and offered him.
So, yeah, and I'm sure he had the most relationship with him as far as the staff goes, aside from maybe
if Patrick Toney was here.
Yeah, I mean,
like you guys said, I would feel better if it was a Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick Toney was still here. I think I would feel better about where we would stand with him, but we'll see. I mean,
I don't think it's the biggest need.
No, it's just one of those things that you just, it'd be nice to have.
Yep.
All right, Hirsch. Next one from Justin. He says, do you guys think TJ Moore is on commit watch? And I'm going to ask all his questions at once, Hirsch. If you need me to go back through, I will.
Okay.
He says, do you guys think TJ Moore is on commit watch? And does Drulin Miller visit anywhere? Don't hear anything about him visiting anywhere, period.
TJ Moore, I do think it's very, very likely he ends up in the class. I couldn't tell you when he commits. If I had to guess, probably June. I think June is a good spot to watch out for. He'll take his visit, probably come Friday Night Lights. If I had to guess, obviously Friday Night Lights, nothing is confirmed for any visitors now. But I know the staff is pressing him as the number one receiver they want the most outside of Jeremiah Smith. Of course, we know that. Draylon Miller is down the list of kids we're after. I've heard he's probably going to end up at one of the three of Texas A&M, Texas, or LSU. He's going to stay out that way. I know that Texas A&M has done a lot to try to keep him out that way, including doing some things to keep him from visiting here when he was supposed to visit over the fall or over the winter. But don't look for Draylon Miller to be part of this class.
All right. Last one from our boy Justin CJ. This is your baseball question. He says, your thoughts on Florida and Florida State not being national televised on television?
It's bullcrap. It's bullcrap. That's what it is. That's a rivalry game against. I mean, seriously, a rivalry game, and you love, hate, whatever you want to say about Florida State. They are a historic baseball program. They have so many hosts in a row. Looks like that streak's finally going to come to an end this year. But between that and Hauser and then Mike Martin and those guys, Florida State's got a legacy. This is a big-time rivalry game. It's a neutral site game in Jacksonville. I understand Florida State's not great this year. I totally get that. But to me, it feels like that game should be on somewhere. Somebody should have that game. Even if it's on ACC Network Plus, give somebody a satellite feed. You get somebody out there with a handheld camcorder let people watch the game.
That was Nick De La Torre.
No, he had the Nokia flip phone, and he had that thing in 720p. Man, I couldn't tell what I was looking at. It looked like somebody had wiped their greasy hand on the screen. I don't know. I don't know what he.
We love you, Nick.
I don't know what he was doing, man. I was like,
make sure you check out our interview with Nick De La Torre on this week's episode.
He was Jack Caglianone's 26th home run. I'm like, it is? I don't know what that was.
Captured in 8-bit graphics.
That looks like some of the scout footage they get from people playing in like third world countries and stuff. Like,
My God.
they're just like where you're trying to recruit a kid from Venezuela or something like that.
God.
But no, I think it's crap. I really don't like that. And I understand the game was delayed, but man, you can make time for that. It's a big game. Florida finished off the sweep. Nobody expected anything any different. They got 5 runs in the first inning and everybody freaked out. And I'm like, let's calm down. They didn't get another run the rest of the game. Blake Purnell had a great outing, so great for that. And Jack Caglianone has tied the record. He's looking to break it. I assume he's probably going to break it this weekend. He's probably going to leave it so far behind in the dust that nobody will ever break it again unless they just start really juicing the baseballs.
Yeah. That's it for me, Hirsch. That's my last question from the Facebook.
All right. Well, guys, before we jump to the Twitter questions, we got one question from our man, Lucas the Gator Man. He always asks in the comments to our previous week's show. His question this week is, who do you think we lead for on the offensive line board? Lucas, right now, I couldn't tell you. I think we stand in good shape for a handful of guys, but it's going to be a fight for all of them. Michael Looney out of Texas, Jordan Seaton out of IMG. There's a couple of other kids whose name is trying to escape me right now out of Texas. I know we're after. Fletcher Westfall is another guy that I think we're in good shape for. It's going to be a wait and see, man. Right now, as you know, I'm down on this offensive line recruiting. Wes has obviously been down on the offensive line recruiting.
Down since day one.
Yeah, way down since day one. So it's a wait and see, man. Hopefully this O-line board really develops over the next couple of months, leading in once again to Friday Night Lights, and we see maybe some guys warm up to us. I don't know what term to put on this right now because it's just been
horrific.
It's been bad, like especially at the offensive tackle position. You can't lean on they got Roderick Kearney forever. That's one guy. And Najee Harris looks to be a beast. He looks to actually be really good. Who was your competition? I'm not saying nobody wanted Najee, but Alabama, Georgia, all of them weren't beating down his door. So you've got to go out and land some elite offensive linemen at some point.
We don't want this to turn into a John Hevesy situation.
And it is. Right now we're in the project.
Yeah, I don't like taking he's a big kid, he's a 3-star, we can develop him. That's not good. I understand that there are kids that you're going to take projects in every class. Every coach is going to see some kid that they really like, and they're going to take him and they're going to say, we can make him a great player. And with this offensive line staff, they've proven that they can do it. They've proven that they have some guys that are in the league now. They have developed, like Osiris Torrance was a kid that nobody really wanted. They took him and they've turned him into an NFL guy. Max Mitchell the same way. So they can do it, but you don't want to lean on that. Like I want to see what they can do with a 5-star talented kid. If you're that good at developing a 3-star, let me see what you can do with a kid who's a 5-star on the board and, go on there. You're not going to win a national championship without elite play on the offensive line. Every national championship team in the history of ever has had a good offensive line.
Indeed.
I've never seen I've never seen a national championship team that's like, man, that offensive line.
That was some questionable blocking.
That just doesn't happen.
They staved off 8 sacks from the opposing team, but still pulled it out.
Right. So, hey, I'm not trying to beat anybody over the head here. I'm not doom and gloom at all. It's only May. There's a lot of time to make up. If you start getting 1 or 2 of these kids in this class, then it starts to change the tune a lot. But we're just going off of what we're seeing now. I mean,
And
I
what
might
we-
look like an
and-
idiot in December.
and how we ended last cycle.
Right. That's all
Yeah.
you can go on is what you've done previous and what it looks like at the moment.
I
Yeah.
mean, obviously we know Pancake was a big time money issue.
Mhm.
Lucas Simmons, obviously he had a great relationship with Atkins out there, but hey, this is what you're getting paid for. You're getting paid to win these battles. So, all right, guys, here's the Twitter questions we got for the week. First comes from our man JC. I'm gonna throw this to both of y'all. Would you rather have comfortable seating with less capacity at the Swamp, or keep as is and renovate and just keep it as it is seating wise? CJ, I'll start with you.
Oh, this is tough because I like to be comfortable at the game. Don't get me wrong. I've sat in some really bad seats in my lifetime, man. I've sat up there next to the orange wall that goes around the top of the stadium when they did the flyover. It took my damn hat off. But I want the capacity to stay as long as we're packing that thing, man. 90,000 people. You really, once you start to get outside the SEC, you really realize that there ain't very many big college football stadiums. There's not everybody has 90,000 people coming to see this team, and we have been bad for a long time, and you're still packing the thing out. It gives us an home field advantage like no other. I'd love to see, a new scoreboard on the other side of the field. We've got the new one on the one side. I'd like to see the other one. I'd like to see the speaker system revamped. I'd like to see the lights, get the LED lights on the field. Some of the stuff, can be fixed. I think that, renovating the bleachers, maybe adding backs to the bleachers, not necessarily armrest, but like a backrest to the bleacher. I think that would be, feasible. You really don't lose that much seating at that point. Maybe a little knee room, but nothing, out of the way. So I'd rather just keep the capacity, man, to clean up the place a little bit, new paint of coat. And just see how that goes. I don't want to lose any seating in the Swamp.
Wes?
I agree with CJ. Everything he echoed about the other scoreboard and the LED lights and all that, I agree. I want to leave it as is. I think if we win, that people don't care. They're not going to be sitting down anyway. They're going to be excited and on their feet with those type of games. We win it and we get to program the way we're back. So I don't think the seating needs to be changed. I like the 90,000+.
All right, guys, I agree with both of you. I want the noise advantage 10 out of 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Now it's time for your Gator Bait 88. He always comes through with some questions or responses. We already answered one of these. I'm going to ask it anyway. Have we contacted any transfer QBs? I know our options are very limited with who's in the portal. The answer is no. We haven't, and I don't expect us to. I know that's not the answer that the fan base is looking for, but that's the answer the fan base is going to have to live with right now, guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
you guys can't keep throwing out names of guys that aren't even in the portal, like Grayson McCall and Malik Murphy. Like
everybody,
those are
one of
great options.
these guys, it's not happening. It's not happening, guys. I know we want to use all the examples of Graham Mertz never was good at Wisconsin. He looked like crap in the spring game. You're going to have to grin and bear it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it for y'all. I wish there was a better pill to swallow. As CJ has said before, sometimes you just got to drink the medicine and it tastes like S.
Yep. And that's what I think. But I think it's a lot easier if you be positive about it. You be positive
and just accept it. Look, this season is what it is.
Just hope that Mertz gets better. Like, just, be like, okay, he's with us now. What he did at Wisconsin doesn't really have anything to do with us. They were running, 1955 Notre Dame offense over there anyway. I mean, just kind of be positive about him and don't beat up on Graham Mertz. I mean, the kid picked to come here. He wanted to come play for us. I mean, the least we could do is be supportive of him and hope he does well, as opposed to just taking a dump on him every time we get a chance.
Hadn't even played a snap yet.
I mean,
he hadn't played it down.
My whole thing with Mertz is, I'm and this is part 2 of Gator Bait 88's question was who's another O-line transfer we're looking at since we didn't get Simmons. And right now, Gator Bait, I couldn't tell you. And that leads me to what I was about to say, which is My biggest problem right now is I just want the offensive line to be solid, because if they give the kid time, I think he'll be okay.
Yep.
Between the running game, the weapons that we do have, and I know a lot of people are like, well, these guys haven't proven anything. No, they really haven't. I get it. But I believe there's enough talent in the room that if you can block and give the guy time to go through his progressions, even in the spring game, he showed that. Like he hit the guys when he had time to go through his progressions.
This is
I understand.
My bad.
I understand we want a mobile guy, and that we want a guy that can escape pressure, and that's exciting. And that's today's, ultimate quarterback, is a guy that can move, he can make plays on his feet. And that guy's coming, but he's not here yet, and we're just going to have to grin and bear it on that front for another season. It just is what it is.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about Dan Orlovsky had some few points on some drops that some of our receivers had last year with AR and all that stuff. And I'm saying that to say this: AR was better than CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, and all these guys as far as play action passes. So that alludes to what Hurst was saying. Our offensive line is solid, and we were able to run the ball. When play action occurs, there are guys that were open last year to have AR be the number one. I won't say number one, but he was better than Stroud, Young, Will Levis, all those guys from play action passing as far as that goes. So that's going to be the key to our offense: play action passing, based off the two monster backs that we have, 3 and 4 really, because Treon looked good and so did the transfer.
Carroll's going to be a monster. I mean, we got the backs.
If the offensive line is solid, I can see Graham Mertz hitting those guys. And one thing that I love is that he's going to hit the check down guys. And to get the ball into Etienne's hand, I rewatched the Vanderbilt game the other day, and I saw him take a pass. Etienne get a ball out of like in the flats and just make some moves on some guys. So I love that. So to our offensive line is the big key for Mertz and his success.
All right, we got 2 questions from Justin Wood, but we just answered one because his first question was most likely portal lineman Florida lands with the miss on Simmons. And right now, I don't know if there is one, Justin. We haven't heard a name yet. And until we do, we can't even speculate any further, because I really think, and I hate to say this out loud, I think we got caught with our pants down.
Yep.
And hey, Billy's great at adapting. That's the thing that we say, and we regurgitate. Well, this is a prime time to say, oh well, I had another guy in my back pocket to go to. Sometimes we're quiet about these things. Sometimes you just don't have an answer. And right now we don't have an answer. Hopefully this week we'll hear a name, because we need to get him on campus and get him working out and get him in the system and all that good stuff. Justin's second part goes right to CJ about our favorite baseball player at the moment. How many homers is Jack going to have by the end of the season? And when do you think he breaks the record for home runs?
He's gonna break the record this weekend. I mean, dude is hot. All he takes is one fastball over the middle, and he's gonna crush it. I don't know why I wouldn't even pitch to him. I do like they used to do with Barry Bonds and just walk him. I wouldn't even want to throw the ball. Like there's just times where he's just sending that thing out there. I think he breaks it this weekend. He only needs one to do it. He's tied it, and there's no reason to believe he won't. I could see him finishing in the 30s with home runs of the season, with the regular season. I mean, he's at 26 now. Got 9 games left. I mean, if he hits 5 home runs in the 9 games, he's there. I mean, that's 31 home runs, and then you still, if you're counting. If you're counting the postseason, he could go up in the 40s. I mean, which is ridiculous. But I think he breaks it this weekend. I'm going to hold that, and even if he doesn't, I think he breaks it the next weekend. So I mean, he could do it at any point. I would have been shocked if he had broke it last night against Florida State. The way he was going, he hit one. I was waiting on him to hit another one.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all for the questions. As always, man, we love it. We appreciate it. And as always, guys, now it's time for our community question of the week. Community question this week was in lieu of last week's episode about the draft and the NFL draft taking place. Which NFL team do you think won the draft? All right. Well, we got some answers on the Twitter machine here. And Richard Denise says, hate to say it, but the Eagles. Kinkymon, the Philadelphia Bulldogs. Print the t-shirts, man. Lucas says the Bears. The Bears, Lucas? The Bears? And Grady Richardson says easily the Eagle. But question about the D-line, who do you think then he added on another candidate, I think, for us on the other show about who do we think is a breakout candidate on the defensive line this year. Hey man, Chris McClellan. I'm gonna take
I told you he can't break out. He's already here. He can't break out if you're already ready to go.
Wes, do you have any answers for that on the Facebook?
Yeah. Devin Harris says, I think the Eagles won the draft. They made some really smart moves and filled the shaky spots on the team. Just sucks that they use Georgia players to do it. Tim Vonville said the Cowboys. He must be a Cowboy fan. Lucas commented the same thing again. Chicago Bears. Byron Holden said probably the Eagles. They seem to have the best draft. Jay Stubbins says, I think it takes 2 to 3 years, but on paper, the Philadelphia Bulldogs, led by Howard Roseman and a Gator alum. Jermaine Scott says Texans all day. Carol Hale said Texans. Justin Wood said definitely the Bills. He think they had a good draft. And Bo Dawes said the Texans as well.
All right, guys. Well, Wes, who do you think won? Who do you think did the best?
Well, because I hate Georgia and I'm a Washington Commander fan and I hate the Eagles, I'm not going to say them. I will go with the unsung team that I think will be pretty good and challenge the 49ers over there in the West this year. And I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. They got the best corner in the top 5, and I think they may have gotten also the best receiver, who, even though he didn't play a down last year. We remember him because we were scouting Utah our first game last year and saw him run all over Utah in that bowl game without Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson in that bowl game. He looked like a man amongst boys. I wish he had
say his name.
No, I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to call him the guy.
JSN, baby.
The guy who should have played in the playoffs to help Marvin Harrison Jr. beat the Bulldogs. I'm mad at him for that. He should have played in the playoffs because if they had him and Marvin Harrison, they would have definitely beat Georgia. So not going to say his name for that reason, and not just because I can't say it.
CJ, who do you think got it?
This is going to be like one that people aren't going to say, but I love the Saints draft class. They take Brzee in the first round. Brzee is a guy who just, to me, athletically jumps off the page. The guy has played through a lot of adversity. He's had a lot of things go wrong for him in his life, but he's still on the field, just playing snaps, man. They took a defensive end out of Notre Dame that I like. They took A.T. Perry from Wake Forest, who was the favorite receiver of one Sam Hartman. Loved his stuff. He's a great deep ball threat. I think he'll do well. Kind of alongside Olave, who's kind of a shorter, shiftier kind of guy to run those slot routes and stuff. And then the one pick I really liked, they took Jake Haener from Fresno State. I had Jake Haener as the 4th best quarterback in the draft. Sorry, Will Levis. I thought Jake Haener's stuff jumped off the page. You watch him in the combine. The guy has a great arm. Fresno State has produced a couple of good quarterbacks in their history. I think he's going to be right alongside him. I think Jake Haener might end up being the Saints' next guy after Carr. So I think that they got a good draft. And then they took the running back out of CCU. He's not a big guy, but he definitely showed a lot what he could do during TCU's run. So they're probably going to have pretty good use for him alongside Jamal Williams and Alvin Kamara. So I really like the Saints draft class. I think the Saints did a very good job with their class. It's not gonna wow you. It's not gonna jump off the page. You're not gonna see it and really think, wow, they made this move for this guy, and wow, that guy's that's a genius move. But a lot of the players they got addressed a lot of their needs, and it was really solid. And I think they got a good mix of everything that they needed.
Yeah, I was really myself impressed with the Texans. I mean, the Texans were doing some Madden stuff out there, in Kansas City. I mean, you get CJ Stroud at 2. They had kind of rope-a-doped everyone. Everybody kind of thought they were going to go with defense. So they take CJ Stroud, and then moments later they trade back up to get Will Anderson. It was like, craziness. I was like, hey, I like putting a bunch of young guys on the field. You already got Damon Pierce out there, and then they got Henry Toto
Mhm.
To'o
Toho.
out of Alabama, who was late in the 5th round. I thought that was a really good pickup. Just, some really solid pickups there. And I really like what the Detroit Lions did as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it was crazy of them to take Gibbs at 12, but I think a lot of teams were looking to grab Gibbs right after that. Bengals, Bills, a lot of people, were going to be after that kid, especially with my Falcons taking Robinson at 8, meaning he was the only really solid running back left on the board right there. And then you get Hooker, later on in the draft, who I believe, who's the same age as Jared Goff, but I mean, he might play sooner than later, man, if that knee heals right. And Detroit's, I like their coaching staff. I like what they're doing up there, man. I really, maybe Detroit's finally going to be a good team up there with CJ's Packers maybe coming back down to earth a little bit. And then, and then that quarterback out in Minnesota who's only getting older.
Yeah, somebody said, could the Vikings be on a run this year to win the Super Bowl? And somebody said no, because Kirk Cousins couldn't win it because they don't play the Super Bowl at lunch.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week's Pod of the People, man. As always, guys, we sure do appreciate you all sending in all the questions and the responses to the community question. Be on the lookout this week. We'll do it all over again when we post it on the Facebook group and in the Twitter page. Send in those questions, send in those responses to the community question. We'll try to have something fun and interesting up again this week as we head into these, we're really heading into that time now where there's not a lot of football to talk about. So we'll try to make something to talk about. Guys, CJ, you got anything to add before we jump out of here?
Just want to make sure you guys are always supporting us as creators, making sure you go to the Patreon, check that out, leaving a comment, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and leaving a like on the video. That helps us out a ton, lets us know we're doing a good job. Also, check out our friends at Alma Mater Apparel. They just dropped the Florida Gator baseball jerseys. So that's going to support our Gator athletes in NIL. They've got the softball ones there over there too. But to get all your favorite players, they've got your Jack Cagliones if you want him, Wyatt Langford, Hurston Waldrop, Brandon Sproat, those guys. If you want to get your favorite Gator to wear to the ball game, and make sure that you guys are checking them out. They're our friends. They have great apparel over there at Gator Wear, made by Gators for Gators. So always doing a great job. Check out our link there. It's take you right to it. It helps us out a ton, guys, and we really appreciate the people that have used the link now. That we can't say thank you enough. I want to thank all you guys as close as we are. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. You guys have got us. We're knocking on the door. Get your grandma to make a YouTube account and let her subscribe to the page. She doesn't even have to watch it. She just subscribe and then set it and forget it. Just help us out. Tell everybody, hey, these guys could use your help. Help out us and lend a hand here. It would mean the world to us.
Yes, sir. That is the truth. As we said, man, Pod of the People, YouTube exclusive show. So if you're already here watching us, hey, man, be a friend. Show some class. Hit that subscribe button. Drop us a like. Drop us a comment. Maybe a question for next week's show like Lucas does every week. And we'll answer that on the show. Wes, you got anything you want to add?
Nah, just piggyback on what CJ said. The link will be in our comments on this particular episode. So if you want to go check out that Gator Gear, Alma Mater, just check the comments below. That link will be there, and you just click that link and you can check out and see whatever there on their site that you like. And again, shout out to the guys or gals that have already purchased things from that link, supporting Gators by Gators. So thank you guys.
Absolutely, guys. Guys, we'll catch you next week. And as always, go Gators.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.